What we're going to look at now is schematic editing. We've already looked at how we utilize schematic components in our drawing. There's a lot of things we can do to edit them as well in our AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're now in the Demo 13 project, which is available to you in your working files. We're in the Schematic subfolder, and again, we're in Drawing Demo 02. Now, in the drawing itself, you'll recognize it from previous videos, from the previous section. We haven't made any changes. What we've done is we've saved all the drawings and done a copy of the project from Demo 12 to Demo 13. So let's have a look now at one of these editing tools, which is the Scoot tool. Now, we've mentioned Scoot before, but you can also scoot components as well. So let's zoom in on this top left area of Drawing Demo 02. And let's have a look now at scooting a component in an AutoCAD electrical drawing. Now we've got a light down here, which is our power on light that came off of one of the panel drawings previously. What we want to do is scoot this along to the left, so it's here on this part of the wire length over here on the left-hand side rather than over here on the right-hand side. Let's go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, and you'll notice here I've got a load of commands here on this flyout menu: scoot, align, move, reverse, flip, and so on. So Scoot is available there, and I can click on Scoot like so, select the object I want to scoot, which is this one here, and you'll see now that I can move it along the wire, and that will scoot everything along, including the attributes. I then press Enter or Escape to cancel the command. One of the lovely features when you're editing components in an AutoCAD electrical drawing is you can select the component, right-click on the component, and you get a fantastic right-hand shortcut menu. Now, on most of the components, the scoot option is there, so I can click on Scoot again, take it back along the wire to this end, and it scoots it back again. Now, the nice thing is, even though I've just scooted that to the right-hand end of the wire, I can click on it again and just keep going until I press Escape or Enter. So let's take that back to the left-hand end where we wanted it to be, press Enter to confirm, and there we go. Now, for working file purposes, we're still in Demo 13 project, and we're still in the Demo 02 drawing. Now, what we're going to do in the drawing this time is we're going to move a component rather than just scoot a component. If you scoot a component, it constrains it to the wire length that you're working on. If you move a component, you can move it from one wire length, say up here, to another wire length, say down here. Let's have a look at moving LT501 down to this wire length here. Now, you can do this in two ways. You can use the Schematic tab on the ribbon, go to the Edit Components panel, click on the flyout menu here, and you've got the Move Component command there. So if I hover over that, you can see how it shows you how you're moving that component from one wire length to another. That's great. We can do it that way. There's another neat way of doing it as well, which again is to select the component, right-click, and you get the menu, and you get Move Component on that right-click menu. It's a little bit slicker and a little bit quicker. You can still use the ribbon if you want to. So I click on Move Component. As soon as I do that, the component is moving on the crosshair as I move around in the drawing. I'll drag it down to here. There's the wire length highlighting, and I click. It updates the drawing, it updates the database, and you are prompted to re-tag, because obviously this wire length has a different number. So I'm going to go OK to re-tag, and you can see, look, LT105, LT105A. And you'll notice here that this wire length has updated and gone back to one full wire length instead of two, where it was split here and here, where that light was originally. So that's how you use the Move Component tool in your AutoCAD electrical drawings to physically move components rather than scoot them like we did in the previous video. There will be occasions in your AutoCAD electrical drawings where you want to copy components as well, not just move them or scoot them. There are two ways of copying components in AutoCAD electrical. If you go up to the Schematic tab on the ribbon and go to Edit Components, you have the Copy Component command here. So if I click on Copy Component like that, I get a pick box. I can go into the drawing and select the component I want to copy. However, you can also select the component you want to copy, like so, right-click, and on the right-hand menu, you get the option there to copy the component. So if I click there on Copy Component, come away here, go further along the wire length and click there. Because it's a new component and I'm copying it, it automatically updates the component tag. So I've now got an LT105B and I can edit that to whatever component tag I want it to be. Click on OK like so, and you can see now I've got LT105A, LT105B. The process is exactly the same if you use the command here. So if I click on copy component here and select a component to copy, you can see it does exactly the same thing. Now I'm not going to copy again, I'm going to hit escape to cancel the command, but that's how easy it is to copy components in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. In order to rationalize and tidy your AutoCAD electrical drawings, there's often the requirement to align your schematic components on your schematic drawings. It's very, very easy to do. It's another one of those very quick and easy commands, and it works very well in AutoCAD Electrical. We're still in the Demo 13 project. We're in the Schematic subfolder, and we're still in drawing Demo 02. Now, I've got a light here, which is light 105. LT105 is the component tag. I want to line this light in here with this one. So I want to bring this one to the left, but I want it to align exactly. All I do is I go up to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, I go to the Edit Components panel and click on the flyout, and I've got Align there. I can align the selected components or wire numbers with the selected master. So if I click on Align now, the first prompt I get is you select the component to align with. Now you can align both horizontally and vertically. You'll notice down there on the command line in the little brackets that vertical is the default. Dynamic input is off at the moment. If I come down here and switch dynamic input on, you'll notice I get that prompt on the actual pick box. So I'm going to select this component here as my master, and then I get a line through the master and I select the object that I want to align, which is this light here. As soon as I click on it and press enter to confirm, it's aligned. Now you'll notice that my 102B wire number is a little bit cramped there. So what I might do there now is use Scoot and select that wire number there and just drag it along the wire. Now you'll notice I've got a problem. I've got a really tight little piece of wiring there now because I've moved that light along. I've aligned it. So how do I fix that? This does happen sometimes. Don't worry, just hit escape a couple of times to cancel that Scoot command. What you want to do there is add a leader to that wire number. So you come over here to Insert Wires, Wire Numbers, click on Wire Number Leader and select your wire number. And then just drag the leader down a bit, click, drag it across, click, enter to finish, and that's much, much neater. And then just hit escape or enter to finish one more time, otherwise it continues with the command. You'll notice I've done that over here with 103 and 104A. Those little leaders make all the difference and really tidy up your drawing, especially when you want to align components like that. Makes things much neater and much tidier. So when you're using your Align command in AutoCAD Electrical, make sure that you utilize some of the other editing tools for things like wire numbers, just to tidy up the drawing and make it look good. Now also, when it comes to Align, I can select a component, let's say this one here, and if I right click, I've also got Align here on the right click menu. So if I click on Align there, it just takes me straight back to the same command, but it says now select components to align. What's happened there is as soon as I've selected that component and then clicked on Align, it becomes the master component. So if I want to align something now, I now have to go and pick it and it will align with that master component that I've selected, which is the LT500. So I'm just going to hit escape there a couple of times because I don't need to align. I've already aligned it with that one there. But you see what happens there? You select this component, right click, and when you select Align here, it assumes that the selected component is the master component, rather than when you go to Align up here and you select Align like that, and you've then got to pick the master component you're going to align with. So just be careful of that one. It is a subtle difference, but it's very, very easy to make a mistake. Hit escape there now just to cancel that command, and that's how you align your objects in AutoCAD Electrical. Often when you're working in your AutoCAD Electrical drawings, there will be a requirement to delete components from the drawings themselves. Now, I must stress, when you're working in AutoCAD Electrical, you're working with a project database behind the drawings themselves. That's what your project is based on over here in the Project Manager. It's all database driven. So don't just run around the drawing deleting using the AutoCAD erase command or the delete key on the keyboard. Because what happens there is you delete the object from the drawing, but you don't delete it from the database. So always use your delete component command. It's very, very easy to find. If you go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, into the Edit Components panel, it's right there, Delete Component. And you can see there that what it does is it deletes the components you select, corrects the wire gaps, but also more importantly, for things like a child contact, delete component updates the cross-reference on the parent as well. So if you erase something like a parent schematic component, you then have the option to search for the related components, the child components as well. It's very important because sometimes when you link things and you delete, let's say, for example, this motor over here, the parent component that we did in previous videos, you might need to delete this contact here as well. Be very careful when you're deleting. Use the delete component command. As I said, the delete component command is here. So I click on delete component. I'm going to delete LT105A. I click on it, press enter to confirm. It goes and it says the parent device was deleted. Do you want to search for and surf to its child peer device contacts, if any? Which there are some. There's LT105 there. There's LT105B there. Now I'm going to say no in this particular instance. That just deletes it from the database, but 105B remains and 105 remains over here as well. That's how quick and easy it is to delete a component. There's another way of doing it. Select the component, right click. You've also got the option to delete the component on the right click menu. So delete component there does the same thing. You get the prompt to surf for its child peer device contacts, if any. Again, I'm going to say no because I know that LT105 is the parent there and I want to keep that one on this wire length here. If I said OK, it would surf for it using this surf tool here. So I'm going to say no in this case. So that's how you delete components in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. When you're working through your AutoCAD electrical drawings, quite often you insert contacts that are normally open, NO, or normally closed, NC. This normally happens with things like push buttons and switches. Sometimes you insert a switch or a push button in its normally open state and you might want to switch it to its normally closed state. Now there is a toggle in AutoCAD Electrical that allows you to do this. In the drawing itself, which is Demo 02 in the Demo 13 project, I've put a push button switch into this wire here. So it's PBLT102. And it sits in a normally open state, an NO state. You can see it there, it's not touching the contacts. Now what happens if I want to convert that to a normally closed state? Well, what I would do is I would go to the Schematic tab here on the ribbon, go to the Edit Components panel here, and it's this little icon here, toggle NONC, and it switches a selected component between the normally open and normally closed contact states. So you can see there on the little diagram how those normally open contacts become normally closed contacts. So I now need to select the component to toggle NONC. It says that on the command line, and if I come down here and switch on dynamic input, you'll notice it doesn't appear. Now the reason it doesn't appear is like I've said before with AutoCAD Electrical. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So dynamic input can be switched off again. It depends on what commands you use. Sometimes dynamic input is enabled, sometimes it isn't. Just be aware of that. If I select this component here and click on it now, it updates and takes it to its closed position. So you can see now that the push button is pushed in and the contacts are joined together. If I click on it again, what will happen? It toggles back to the normally open state again. And it's that easy. And then you just press escape and that cancels the command. Using that normally open, normally closed toggle saves you having to go and find the normally closed or normally open component. You can just toggle it using this icon here on the Edit Components panel, the toggle NONC. It's a very useful tool in AutoCAD Electrical. You can, in AutoCAD Electrical, copy your catalog assignments from one component to another. Quite often when you insert a component from the icon menu, you'll find that there's no catalog assignment. It's not linked to a particular manufacturer's catalog, for example. It's very quick and easy to do, and again, it's on the Schematic tab here on the ribbon. And what you need to do is go to the Edit Components panel and click on this flyout here. And you want to use Copy Catalog Assignment. Now, if I click on that like that and come into the drawing area, it prompts me to select the master component, the one with the catalog information that I need. I'm going to use this red pilot light here and click on it. It's actually the power light, but it's got a catalog component that I need. So I click there. Tells me the manufacturer is AB, so it's got that from the manufacturer's catalog, and there's the catalog number there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a catalog check. Now I can do that by checking the catalog, but the quickest way is to find it by drawing only. So if I click there, it tells me that there's actually two of those in this particular drawing, and there's one blank one. Now the blank one is the one where I need to apply this catalog information. I can do a catalog check. It tells me what it is. Manufacturer AB, there's the catalog number, and there's the description in the catalog database. So it tells me what it does, plastic lens, corrosion resistant, and so on. So I can close that. I can also go to the web to view it if I want to, because it links to the internet as well, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Click on OK. So when I click on OK here now, it'll prompt me now to go and find the target component. You can see that on the command line at the bottom of the screen. So if I go and select this red light here, which is my pilot light red, but it hasn't got a catalog assignment yet, I click there and I then press enter to confirm. Now that doesn't look any different. Here's the trick. If I now go to this light here, the master component, and I right click and I go edit component on the right click menu, there's the catalog data. So it's an AB A100H. I'll just cancel that because I don't want to make any changes. Now this one, if I click on it, right click and go edit component, that now has the same catalog data. That's the important thing. It's great because it means that you don't have to keep going and looking up catalog information. You are in essence copying database information from a component that's already got it to a component that is in essence database-wise blank. It's not blank on the drawing because it's still showing here as a red pilot light, but you want to make sure that it's got the appropriate catalog information so that when you start reporting later on, it comes up in the right report with the right catalog information. So that's how you copy the catalog assignment from one component to another in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're still in Demo 13 project. I'm just going to slide up here on the project manager. So there's Demo 13 project there. We're still in the drawing Demo 02.dwg there as well. There will be times when you need to audit your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Now, I don't mean a regular AutoCAD audit command either. You need to do what is called a DWG audit, which is specific to AutoCAD Electrical. Now, the reason you do these audits is to check for orphaned entries in the database, to make sure that your components and your wires are all numbered and tagged properly, and so on and so forth. I've also got drawing Demo 08 open as well. I'm going to close that one because I only want to audit the one drawing. I don't want it to go and do other drawings. So let's close down drawing Demo 08. We don't need that one. It's prompting me to save the changes. I'll just say yes to that. That's fine. We've got drawing Demo 02 for this particular exercise, and that's the only drawing we're going to use because we're going to perform a DWG audit on this individual drawing. Where do you find the DWG audit command? It's actually on your Reports tab here on the ribbon. And it's this command here, DWG audit. Now what it does, as it says there, is it detects problems related to wire numbers, wire connections, and displays a report of them and any repairs it might make. Drawing Audit identifies and cleans up some of the problems that can affect an AutoCAD electrical drawing. You can also save the error report for reference or surf the file to view and correct the errors. So let's have a look at that. Let's click on DWG Audit. I want to audit the active drawing. So I click on OK. It's going to find me wire gap pointers that might need fixing, bogus wire numbers, zero length wires. That can happen sometimes. You get a wire that is a zero length. You've gone to draw a wire, maybe just done a tiny little short piece of wire and cancelled the command. Wire number floaters. There's nothing worse in an AutoCAD electrical drawing where you've got a wire number but it's got no wire. And also show the wires as well. We want to mark them in red, the ones that need checking, auditing or fixing. So when I click on OK, it goes off into the drawing now, and it's found 173 line entities, 173 that are wires, and there's 0 wires on the no wire numbering wire layers shown in magenta. So if I just move this down here for the moment, it's gone through and it's audited all of the wires. They're all marked in red, and all of these lines going out are AutoCAD Electrical checking all of those links between the wires themselves. So that's great. We're done. We have no errors, so I can OK that now. And there's the audit report. Now I can do a save as and save that out as a file of any particular type. Normally a TXT file will work, so I'll cancel that. I can also print it if I want to. In this case, I'm just going to close it. Notice the surf button is greyed out because there's no errors in the drawing. Now the good thing about that is that I don't have to surf to find the errors. It's fixed them all for me. So you'll notice there were some wire number floaters there and it's removed them. So that's great. I don't have to surf those and find those. So I can now close. And when I zoom out, you'll see that all that highlighting disappears. So you can see there that that DWG audit is very, very useful. It tidies up your drawings. Now the good thing is you can do it for an active drawing, but you can also do it for the whole project if you want to. Now I'm not going to bore you by letting you watch an audit for a whole project of X number of drawings. You can see how it worked on that one drawing. It does that for every drawing if you set the settings to project. There are times with AutoCAD Electrical where you need to re-tag components either in a drawing, individually, or perhaps project-wide. It does depend on what you're doing. We're still in the Demo 13 project over here in the Project Manager, and we're still in drawing demo02.dwg. We're going to perform a re-tag on this particular drawing itself, and then I'll show you how to individually pick as well. I'm not going to bore you by re-tagging an entire project. That just involves sitting there watching screens change and re-tag. So let's have a look at how this works. You go into the Schematic tab on the ribbon, into the Edit Components panel here, and it's this icon here. So click on the flyout menu and you want this one here, Retag Components. Now you've got some options. You can re-tag all of your components for your project, or the active drawing, or you can go into the active drawing and pick an individual component to re-tag. Let's do active drawing all first. So I click on OK, and you can see that processing down there on the command line. So it's reading the project database file. So now it's telling me there are some other drawings that are linked to this particular drawing that include child components or related panel components as well. These will no longer match the re-tagged parents. I've got drawings to process 3, components to update 25, breakdown by category. There's a panel symbol update. So there's 25 over on the panel symbol that need doing. I'm going to OK that. It saves this particular drawing, so it OKs it. And what you'll notice now is it goes into the other drawings as well that have those parent-child links. So it's going through the 2 panel drawings because there's components on drawing demo 02 that link back to those panels. So it's done a complete retag now. If I zoom in on this area here, what it's done is anything that might have numbered up here, it's now renumbered on the panel drawings as well. That's a retag per drawing, and obviously it's picked up the parent and child relationships. Let's do a retag individually. So if I come back to this retag components and go active drawing pick and then click on OK, I now get the option to pick a component to retag. So I'm going to go for my push button here. It's 102 at the moment. And then I just press enter to confirm. And what that does is it retags it for me. The good thing is it won't change because it's already done a retag on the entire drawing. So there's no changes needed in this particular case. So it's stayed at 102. So I don't need to do it individually. However, what I can do is if I want to edit this component individually, I can click on it, right click, edit component, and I can change the tag here. So I could change that to push button, let's say 110. I'll OK that. That updates and you can see it's now 110. Now if I want to take that back again, I can, but what I can also do is I can do a component retag, active drawing pick, and I'll OK that, and I'll now select the 110 and then press enter to confirm. So what will happen is that updates, it goes back to 102. Now why does it go back to 102? Well, I can tell you. What we've got, if we look here, we've got some referencing. Now this is our X zone referencing in a vertical fashion, and because I'm lined up with that reference there, 102, coming across here, all of these components are 102, 102, 102, 102. So what it's doing is it's tagging as per the reference on the drawing itself. So I can change that individually, but when I retag it, it ties it up with the references on the drawing. So you can see how that works. It's a very neat tool, and that's how you retag your components either individually, by drawing, or by project. When you insert components into your AutoCAD electrical drawings, sometimes there are attributes attached to them, and those attributes come into the drawing in some slightly obscure places. And the only reason that they do that is it's just where that particular component has those attributes programmed to come in when they come into an AutoCAD electrical drawing. It's just a standard setting. The good thing is you can move the attributes of any component anywhere on an AutoCAD electrical drawing. It's very, very easy to do. We're still in the Demo 13 project, and again, we're in the Demo 02.dwg. Now we're looking at these lights here. We've got LT102, LT105. Now if I hover over LT105, all the attributes highlight there, and you can see that that power on attribute is part of LT105. LT102, you can see that P light red, the description, is also an attribute of LT102. So let's have a look at moving those attributes and tidying this up a little bit. The best way to do this, and the quickest way to do this, is to select the component, right click, and on the shortcut menu that comes up, that nice menu, go to attributes here, and what you can do is you can then go into move attribute. You can then select the attributes that you want to move. Now you can do a window move, as it says on the command line. It's actually a little bit easier to select them individually, I find. So I'm going to go for 1 and 2. I want those two attributes to move. I then press enter to confirm, and then it'll ask for a base point. Now you can use your dynamic input if you want to. So you'll notice there it's prompting me for a base point now. So I click there, and what I'm going to do is move those two attributes next to the other attributes there, press enter to finish, job done. That tidies up the AutoCAD electrical drawing. Can you see how neat that now looks with the power on attributes just next to the light? Let's have a look at this one at the top. It's a little bit more crowded up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize Scoot first. I'm going to go up to the Scoot here on the Edit Components panel and select that wire number there. Little box appears. I can scoot that along to here just for now and then press enter to finish. Now the reason I've popped that there is I don't want it getting in the way when I move these attributes here. So I select the component, right click, attributes, move attributes. Pilot light and red to be moved, enter to confirm, pick a base point and drag, and I'll just place those there. Much neater, much more concise. I'll then press enter to finish. I go back to Scoot again now, select the 102 wire number, drag it along so it's roughly central, looks a bit neater there, enter to finish. So that's how you can move your attributes for your components in the AutoCAD electrical drawings. In the previous video, we looked at moving attributes. Now you can also edit your attributes on an AutoCAD electrical drawing for your components. We're still using the Demo 13 project, schematic subfolder, Demo 02 drawing. So we're still in the same view that we were in the previous video. Now the reason I've stayed there is obviously we're working on these attributes for these two lights here. The attributes can be edited very, very easily. And the quickest way to do this is with the right-hand mouse click. So I'm going to select the red pilot light first, this one here. Right-click, go to Attributes here, click on there, and then go to Edit Attributes. And then it will prompt you to select the attribute you want to edit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this attribute here that says P-light. Okay, I'm going to change that to Pilot. It's very, very easy. Edit attribute. So all I've got to do is type in Pilot. I can pick similar text on the drawing if I want to. If I click here, it updates the last letter each time. And when I get to Z, it then goes Z1, Z2, and so on. So you can see that I can advance it character by character if I want to. I just want it to say Pilot. So when I click on OK now, that'll update. Press Enter to confirm. Job done. So it now tells me it's a pilot light and it's red. Something else I might want to do down here, I've got another light here that indicates the power is on. Now I might want it to indicate that the power is off. Wouldn't normally be the case, but I'm showing you again another attribute edit. So I select the component, right click like so, go to attributes here, and what I want to do is I want to edit the attribute there. So I'm going to select the word on, change that to off, and then click on OK, and that updates. The good thing is I can just go straight back in, select attribute again, change it back from off to on, click on OK, enter to finish, job done. So that's how you can edit your component attributes in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. To see the wood for the trees sometimes in your AutoCAD electrical drawings, you do need to hide some of your component attributes, purely because there's just not enough space on a drawing occasionally. We're still in the Demo 13 project. We're still in Drawing Demo 02. What we're going to look at is hiding attributes on components. Now, you'll notice that with LT102 and LT105 that we've used in the previous videos, there is an R in the center there, indicating that that is a red pilot light. So up here for LT102, that red attribute doesn't actually need to be displayed. So I can select the component, right click, and on the shortcut menu, I go to Attributes here, and I go Hide Attribute. I then select the attribute that I want to hide, which will be this red one, and then it's hidden. I then press Enter to finish. That now tells me it's a pilot light, and the R in the middle tells me that it's red. So what I could do there now is I could click on there again, right click, Attributes, and I'll do a Move Attribute, and I'll move this attribute here, press Enter to confirm, use a base point and just line that in, maybe bring it down a bit here like that so that I know it's a pilot light. It's a bit picky, but it tidies the drawing up. And there's nothing better than a tidy AutoCAD electrical drawing. So I'll just press Enter there to finish. Sometimes you can make a mistake and hide an attribute that you need. Typical example is the power on attribute here. If I go and hit that on attribute and hide it, all it tells me is that is a power light. It doesn't tell me whether the power is on or off. The light might be on to tell me that the power is off. It might be a warning light, for example. So again, I select the component, right click, attributes like so. It does go slightly off the screen again. Don't worry about that because we only need hide attribute. And then I select on and it goes away and I press Enter. The issue is, once I've hidden it, how do I get it back? It's very easy. I select the component again, right click, and I go to Attributes. This time I go to List Edit. There they are there, and you can see, look, there's description 2, and there's the on there. And at the moment, the little asterisk that prompts it to be visible isn't there. It says Select to toggle. So if I click there, can you see the little asterisk comes back? I click on OK, and that switches it back on. It's that quick, simple and easy. So that's how you can hide your attributes for your components in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. But more importantly, what I've shown you as well is how to unhide them and make them visible again. There is often a requirement to add attributes to existing components in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. There's also sometimes the requirement to create a new component and add new attributes to it as well. We're still in the Demo 13 project using the Demo 02 drawing, and we're staying with the existing zoomed view of the drawing as well, because what we're going to look at doing is adding attributes to existing components in the drawing. Now you go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, go right over to the Other Tools panel, click on this flyout menu here, and you want Symbol Builder, and it allows you to define a new symbol or object within the AutoCAD electrical drawing. Now there's nothing to stop you selecting an existing component, editing it, changing it slightly and saving it as a different component in the attribute template library path, which is here. So what you can do is you can select an object from the drawing. So if I click here and then select my LT102, for example, and press enter to confirm, you can see there's the preview. And there's all the attributes, descriptions, tags, location, installation, and so on. I'm not actually going to change this particular component, but I'm going to demonstrate what you can do with it. So I click on OK there. What will happen is you actually go into your block editing tools within AutoCAD. You also get various palettes come up on the screen, and you need to use these to edit the block that you're working with. So you've got the Symbol Builder Attribute Editor here. These are the required attribute tags that you need. So you can see that these ones ticked are the ones that apply to this particular pilot light. Now you can see that I can dock these if you want me to. I can move them around. They are actually obscuring my view, but that's not a problem because I'm not going to make any changes. So that's my Symbol Builder Attribute Editor. I'm going to close that one. And as you can see, there's all the tags. I can go in and edit them, decide on the positions of them. Now these tools here are actually your dynamic block tools for AutoCAD. So you can assign parameters, actions, and so on. I'm not going to need to do that either. So there is my pilot light block with all its attributes. So you can see now how AutoCAD Electrical works. When you insert one of these blocks, all of these attributes come in, and all of these attributes are actually linked to the AutoCAD Electrical Project database. So if I now close the block editor without making any changes, nothing will change. But that's how you can add attributes to an existing component, but also create new components with attributes from existing components as well. The size of the attribute text that you've got on your AutoCAD electrical drawing is controlled by your project and drawing settings normally. However, you can edit that within the drawing itself. So let's have a look at how that works. Up until now, I've recommended selecting the component, right-clicking like so, going to the attributes, and you'll notice there that I can change my attribute size there. So you can see at the moment the size is 0.09, the width is 1, which is 100%, and I can edit all of that, and there's various tools there. I'm going to cancel that for the moment, because what I can do as well is go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, go to Edit Components panel here, click on the flyout, and there's all of the attribute tools there as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Change Attribute Size there, and again, I get the same dialog box, but this time I haven't actually selected the component. All I've done is select the command. What I need to do is update those settings by component, really. I can do it this way, no problem at all, but I'll cancel it for the moment. The quicker way of doing it is to select the component, right-click, Attributes, and then Attribute Size. Size, I can pick it on the drawing itself if I want to. Size is 0.09, apply, width is 1. What I can do is I can actually change the size singly by name or type it. So if I click on single, it then prompts me to select the object. Now I haven't actually changed the size, so if I click on pilot there, it does actually change because that is a default value. That 0.09 is a default value, so I then press enter to finish. So it did change size. However, I didn't actually set that 0.09. It's just a default value. So let's go through that one more time. What I'll do this time is I'll go up to here and we'll go to change attribute size from the ribbon. And I'm going to leave that 0.09 there. And then I'm going to go to single again. And I'm going to go 1 and 2 and then enter to finish. It's that easy. Obviously, if I want to undo those, I can just go up to undo. But can you see the difference now? The tag is a little bit bigger and the text, the description text, is a little bit smaller. It tidies up the drawing, but more importantly, it emphasizes the tag, but it also emphasizes the description attributes as well, because they highlight because they're a little bit smaller and they're different to the tag size. So these little tricks like this can actually make your drawing look a lot more professional. So that's how you can change your attribute size in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. There are times when you're working with your attribute text in a component drawing where you need to squeeze the attribute text and just make it that little bit smaller so that you can rationalize the space that you've got on your AutoCAD electrical drawing. We're still in the Demo 13 project, we're still in demo 02.dwg, and we're still zoomed into the two lights here that we're working with on the Demo 02 drawing. So how do we squeeze our attribute text? Well, it's a bit of a strange one, because if you go up to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, and then go to the Edit Components panel and click on the flyout here, and select Squeeze Attribute Text. Now, you select the text or attribute to squeeze. So if I click on the Power attribute there, watch, click, 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 click. Each click, if you read the command line, is going down by 5%. Can you see that? 0.7, 0.65, 0.6, and as you can see, it's getting smaller and smaller. So if I keep going down to say 0.5 and then do the same with the on, as you can see, I bring that down, keep clicking to make it consistent, makes it a bit smaller. If I come back down again to the squeeze attribute text and click again, I just keep clicking and it gets smaller and smaller each time. So those are now half the size that they were. I can do the same up here, but if I click here, right click, attributes, squeeze attribute text, it's the same again. Click, 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 click. Once you get to a certain number of clicks, it stops. The reason it does that is it's making sure that you don't go too small so that it's unreadable. So the idea there is that you can make things smaller. And look, that distinguishes those attributes from the other attributes on the component. So that is squeezing your attribute text on your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Stretching your attribute text in your AutoCAD electrical drawings is the reverse of the squeezing that we did in the previous video. We're still in the Demo 13 project, we're still in the drawing demo 02.dwg, we still have the same view, we're still working with these two lights. What we're going to do now is we're going to stretch our attribute text. We can go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, Edit Components panel, click on the flyout here, and stretch the attribute text. And it's the same process. If I click now, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll go up to 0.95, which is the default. I'll then go here, 1, 2, 3, and keep going until I get to the 0.95. There we go. Press enter to finish. So now it's back to where it was before. So that stretch and squeeze allows you to rationalize and either make the text smaller or bigger depending on what you need to display on your AutoCAD electrical drawings. You can do this using the right click menu. So I'll select LT102, right click, attributes, and I can stretch the attribute text. And again, it's just click. Keep clicking and checking the command line until you get it back to the 0.95. Press enter to finish. Job done. So we're back now to the default settings that we had before we did the stretch and also the squeeze attribute text in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Another thing you might want to do when working with your attribute text in your AutoCAD electrical drawings is to rotate the text as well. We're staying in the Demo 13 project and we're in the Demo 02 drawing. The same view as before, we're still working with these two red lights here on the circuit in Drawing Demo 02. To rotate your attribute text, again, you can use the Schematic tab on the ribbon, Edit Components panel, click on the flyout, and you've got the ability there to rotate attribute. So you select the attribute text and it rotates it in 90-degree increments. So if I click on Power there, it rotates it 90 degrees. If I click on, rotates it 90 degrees. Now the problem that you have is as soon as you do this, you then need to press Enter to finish, and you might need to move those bits of text. Now I know it doesn't look perfect, but it's very easy to sort that one out. So what you do is you select your component here, right click, attributes, and you want to move the attributes like so. So select the attribute to move. So I'm going to select both actually in this particular case first, and then press Enter to confirm. And I'm just going to move them so that they're a little bit further away like that, and then Enter to finish. I'm going to zoom in a bit more now using the wheel on the mouse, so getting nice and close. We'll select the component, right click, attributes, we'll move that on attribute there, and we'll right click or enter base point, and we'll just move that a little bit over. That looks much neater. Enter to finish, and when I zoom out, that's nicely rotated through the 90 degrees. The other way that I can do it is I can select the component here, right click, attributes, and you'll notice I can rotate the attribute here, click there, and it rotates it straight away. Now you'll notice I've got the option to move on the dynamic input prompt. So what I can do there is type M and enter, and then I can automatically move that rotated text straight away. Click on the base point, drag it over a little bit, click there, enter to finish. So I don't actually have to come out of the rotate attribute command. I just type M within the rotate attribute command, and I can move once I've rotated the attribute text. You may also want to change the justification of your attribute text in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're staying in the Demo 13 project in the Project Manager. We're still in the Demo 02.dwg drawing as well, and we're still looking at these two lights, LT102, LT105. You'll notice that I've rotated the attribute text back to the horizontal for both of the lights in the drawing. So let's have a look now at how we can justify our text. Let's have a look first at LT102. If I click on it and I right click and go to attributes here, you'll see that there isn't any justify attribute text. It's not actually on the right click shortcut menu. So I'll just hit escape there a couple of times. You have to go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, into the Edit Components panel, and click on the flyout. And it's here, Change Attribute Justification. Come into the drawing area, into the dialog box here, and you can select the justification. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the right-hand justification and click on OK. And then select the text attribute to change. So I'm going to select Pilot. And you'll see that that now goes to a right justification. Press Enter to finish. So what's happened now is that text is justified from the T on the pilot. So if I now go back and change that back to left, so I want to change the attribute justification, change it back to left, click on OK, click on the pilot text again, brings it back again, Enter to finish. So that's how you change the justification of your attribute text. Something that you can do, for example, with this power on down here, is I'm going to change both of those to a right justification and then move them. So I'm going to go up here again, change attribute justification, and I'm going to go right and OK it. Text attribute change to right, power, and then on. So they're both adjusted to the right. I then press enter to finish. Now I need to zoom in to tidy this up a little bit. I can click on this piece of text here, right click, attributes, and move attribute. So I'm going to select the attributes to move. 1 and 2. Enter, pick a base point, just move them out this way a little. Click there, and then I'm going to move this one here. Right click or enter to confirm base point. I'm just going to drag it down a little bit, line it in with the power. There we go. Enter to finish, and then when I zoom out, you can see that's all now nice and neatly justified to the right rather than to the left. So I'll just zoom out a little bit to make sure that we can see everything. And that's how you change your attribute justification in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Something else you might want to do with your attributes in your AutoCAD electrical drawings is actually physically change the attribute layer that they're on. Now you'll notice if I hover over any of these two components here, they're both on the sims layer, the symbols layer, as is this one here. But because it's a block with attributes, the actual attributes are on a different color layer. We're still in the Demo 13 project, in the Demo 02 drawing. Let's have a look now at changing attribute layers. This isn't on the right-click menu. If I select the component, right-click and go to Attributes here, you'll see that there's no option to change layers. So I'll just hit Escape a few times, go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, Edit Components panel, click on the flyout, and it's right down here at the bottom. Change Attribute Layer. Click there, Change to Layer. So I can list the layers, and I can select a layer that I want it to go onto. So I want it to go onto the layer green, that one there, and I click on OK. I can force to layer used for wire number text that was placed on the wires. I can do that. I can force it to the layer used for the wire number text on terminals as well. So what I could do there is if I select wires, it goes to the wire number layer. If I do terminals, it goes to the wire reference layer. So let's do that. Instead of going green, let's just go wires there, and the wire number layer is green. So I'll OK that now. Select the attribute or text to move to the layer wire number. So I select pilot, it goes green. If I go for power on there as well, it also goes green. I then press enter to finish. That's how quick and easy it is to change your layers for your attribute text in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. It's very, very simple. You just go in, set the settings, select the attribute text,